Hi, I'm Melanie and I'm a children's book author. In this video, I'll be showing you how to come up with cool sci-fi characters. I think this clip will really help you if you are planning to submit a story for Aspire Lab's sci-fi contest. Just as a recap, you are meant to write about an imagined future in space. With such a contest theme, you may be thinking that it's more important to talk about the technology or all the cool gadgets that exist in this future in space. However, without realistic characters to show how people live in this world, it is hard to sell the believability of your story. At the same time, if your characters are memorable, readers are likely to respond emotionally to them, and that makes the story more engaging. Developing characters is important in sci-fi. By showing how they think, feel, and live in this space, you make the space world convincing to readers. When developing a character for your story, it's important to have a clear idea on what they look like. When you convey that in your story, readers are able to envision the character vividly in their heads as well. Go beyond just the face, height, coloring, and build. Think about what your character would usually be wearing, or how he or she talks and moves. Here's an excerpt from the sci-fi classic Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. Let me read it out to you. He was not conspicuously tall. His features were striking, but not conspicuously handsome. His hair was wiry and gingerish and brushed backward from the temples. His skin seemed to be pulled backward from the nose. There was something very slightly odd about him, but it was difficult to say what it was. Perhaps it was that his eyes didn't seem to blink often enough, and when you talked to him for any length of time, your eyes began involuntarily to water on his behalf. Perhaps it was that he smiled slightly too broadly and gave people the unnerving impression that he was about to go for their neck. In describing this character, notice how as a reader, you already get a sense of what this character will be like if you actually meet such a person in real life. As you can see, the appearance of the character is quite closely linked to the personality, and this is also something worth considering in your sci-fi story. Rather than just coming up with adjectives like cheerful or hardworking, I've come up with some pointers that will help you think about your character with more depth. For one, it would be good to think of a memorable quirk this character has so it stands out from other characters in your story. By also showing what this character struggles with or how he or she grew up, you begin to get a better idea on how the character will respond in various situations. Thinking about how the character interacts with people may help you plot out the relationships in the story, and mapping out their likes, dislikes, and skills will give you an idea on what they would be doing or feeling in your story. There are different types of characters in any story, but the two main characters that you would need to spend more time developing are the protagonist and the antagonist. The protagonist is essentially the good guy, the hero in the story. He is usually striving towards something noble like saving the world. However, the plot of your story needs to show a challenging journey the hero undertakes and how he grows from these obstacles. It's important to show what motivates the protagonist in wanting to strive towards his goal, and he should be given the agency to make his decisions along the way. The protagonist should not be written as someone with a perfect personality. Sometimes, let him fail. It makes him more relatable to the reader. The antagonist, like the protagonist, also has a goal to strive towards, but it would be an opposing one. The baddies that we remember from stories are those where readers also know their motivations, and they should also have unsettling characteristics so that whenever they enter a scene, they give a sense of tension and discomfort. The actions of the antagonist are important because the actions are what usually cause conflict and struggle for the protagonist. At the same time, it's also important to remember the villain often sees himself as a hero in his mind, so it would be more interesting if the antagonist is also given some humanity, whether it is a close bond with a parent or showing compassion in unexpected moments. This creative writing prompt exercise may give you a good warm-up when it comes to developing the characters in a story. Please look at the image of the person on the right. Then answer the following questions. What is her name? What are 3 adjectives you would use to describe her? What is her mood? What do you think she is thinking about? And what do you think she will do next? Spend about 10 minutes answering these questions briefly. At the end of it, you may realize that you have created a profile of a possible character for your story. I've come to the end of the video. Just wanted to let you know that there are other videos you can watch to help you out with your sci-fi writing. All the best!